Wrap up, protect your chains, and make sure your Broncos coverage isn't...
Hello, listeners. We welcome you back to the In-COM-PLETE podcast. Wait a second. Are we live?
There's people.
Are there people seeing us right now?
They asked, and here we are.
They asked, and here we are. So, yes, for those of you that have been asking, begging us, especially you, Mike, here we are. We are live and in person. But we welcome you back to the In-COM-PLETE podcast, where your coast-to-coast host provides you with news, coverage, and opinions of all things Denver Broncos, plus anything else that's on our minds. I am Ty, and I'm joined by, as always, by my wonderful co-host and best friend, Kelly. So, season 7, starting out with a bang because
John Elway's here!
The John Elway year, that is correct. Oh, last year was fun. Let's hope this year is even better. And that's all I've got to say on that intro for the most part. I guess I'll do little some housekeeping things since we are now live. Just because you see us live here and you can catch us at this time does not mean that you won't be able to catch us on wherever you listen to your podcasts. Because shortly after we record here, the episode will go out and be prepared for the next day. So if you're not a video person, you can still listen to audio. Or if you're driving to work, which I know a lot of people still are, especially teachers that are coming up soon that have that commute, you can listen to our podcast either through wherever you listen to your podcasts, or if you do have time, come join us live. Our plan is to be live every Wednesday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, 8:15 p.m. Central, 7:15 p.m. Mountain Time, which I'm pretty sure most of you are in that one. Or if you are on Cali time, 6:15 p.m. Pacific.
And I know no other time. Anytime I refer to the time, it's Kelly time.
Yes, it is always. I think I'm used to either my time, Mountain Time, Kelly time. Those are the three ones that matter to me the most.
I would like everybody to start adding it to the drop downs. When you set the time on something, just change it to Kelly time for me.
Okay. Oh yeah. So you have a little banner. I can say 6:15 p.m. Kelly time. Yes, I will do that for the next podcast episode. But we have a lot to cover. We're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to try to reel in and talk about some things that have happened before we decide to go live. And we do have a little bit of breaking news for today. And then we're going to talk a little bit about training camp and figure out where the Broncos are going to go from here. So I figured that we would get started by saying, before we get started, we have our friend Jay here on the show. What's up? Hoping a great night. Excited for the return. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it so much. All right. So before we get into everything training camp, before we get into anything preseason, there were 2 big contract extensions that were added. And that is from Courtland Sutton and Zach Allen. And so with that being said, we locked up our number 1 wide receiver for at least a few years during the early Bo Nix years. And we've also locked in Zach Allen, which I thought was very, very exciting that we have a big core piece on that defensive line, especially on that front 7.
Well, yeah, as we know, Courtland signed a 4-year, $92 million deal. That comes out to about $23 million a year. That makes him the 18th highest paid wide receiver, which isn't very big. Because the average is $30 million.
Yep.
But Sutton agreed in hopes that the team being built can stay together. So, we saw this after Super Bowl 50. Key pieces started to break off to get those paydays because now they were Super Bowl champions and everything kind of deteriorated around. I know Manning retired and that also had a lot to do with it. But now that we're 10 years removed from that Super Bowl, we can admit Manning wasn't giving us the big plays. So, what they call it, the hometown discount.
The hometown discount, that's correct.
The hometown discount. And we don't want to run into salary cap issues, right? We've looked at other teams go through salary cap hell and been like, not for us. Yep. Last year, and people go, well, is he really the best? Last year, he had a career year with 81 catches, 1,081 yards. It was his second consecutive season with at least 8 touchdowns. He's been our leading receiver the 3 of the last 4 years. He's ranked first on third down plays in receiving yards, receiving first downs, and receptions of at least 20 yards. So, he is kind of impressive, whether, you want to think to or not. Sean Payton agrees that he's a strong target, that he's smart, and he's a leader of the team. Right? Yes. We talk about culture and we talk about who we want in the locker room. And Payton says, we're going to keep a leader. You keep a leader, right?
Exactly.
He's the 3rd fastest player in Broncos history to reach 5,000 receiving yards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. He's the 5th fastest to 300 catches. 300. So he's in the top 5 of Bronco all time. And right now with 379 receptions, he's 9th in franchise history overall. And he only has to get to 80. He only needs 84 more catches and 861 more yards, and he will surpass our beloved Eddie Mack.
Oh, and he possibly could do that this year.
Yep.
All right.
So, as you can tell by my slant, I agree with this.
Is it by your rant or your slant?
Slant. The slant I took on it.
Oh, the slant. I see what you did there now. Caught it. But yes, this is actually a very great deal for Courtland Sutton. And I had actually lost what I was saying. So he's not going to be making the money that the Jamar Chases or the Justin Jefferson will be. I think Justin Jefferson's coming up soon, though. I might be wrong, though. But he's not making that top wide receiver money. But he is that you can't go wrong with the hometown discount. You seriously cannot go wrong with hometown discount. And the fact we got him for less than $100 million, especially after you mentioned the salary cap, pal. We now technically are officially out of that Russell Wilson deal. And so that's going to really took us a while, but we're after this. I think after. So we cut him. No, I think we're officially out of it now. So that does help out a lot. And I think that with having that little extra money, that gives us Courtland Sutton for the next 4 years.
Because the hope is we continue to win.
Yes.
And as we continue, we already had players asking to come play for the Broncos because they see our rebuild is so strong and we're on the way up.
Yes.
Football gods, you hear me. So if we continue to win, more people are going to want to come, and to get strong players and be able to sign them, we got to have cash in our pocket. If we give all our cash away on a couple signings, we're not going to have cash in our pocket.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't care how rich our owners are. That's not how the salary cap works.
I found that the funniest thing when involving that is like everyone's like, oh, we got the Walmart money. Like that doesn't really go towards the contracts. So
it's not supposed to.
Yeah, because we kind of
if it does and we get caught, we're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, it's kind of.
This isn't the Yankees where they can,
Buy every player on the.
buy everything, and it's not the NBA where you just, cut, add a luxury tax on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a true salary cap.
True as is true.
And there's loopholes galore. And I always admit, I say this every season, I can't do salary cap math. But you see where people leave good teams because they can make more money, and to keep. Aren't the Bengals having trouble signing someone because they don't want to pay him?
Henderson, yes. They actually. What did he say? Henderson actually just recently, I think last week, requested a trade.
Who else? Someone else is sitting out because they won't pay him.
For the longest time, it was their rookie first round draft pick for a while, but he signed, I think, 2 weeks ago.
No, but on another team, someone else. On the Cowboys.
Oh, Micah Parsons.
Parsons, that's it. Parsons.
That's right. I forgot about Parsons.
And Jerry Jones got all that Jerry Jones money.
You got Jerry Jones money, so we can pay. So.
Which, off on a complete tangent, the first one is season 7. Well, welcome to the show. I started watching the documentary.
Oh, yes, I have to do that. Yes.
Today. So I watched an episode while I was jogging on the treadmill this morning.
Nice.
So that's when I'm going to watch it. There's 8 episodes, so that's when I'm going to watch it. So I watched the first one that talked about how the money came. So
this is on Netflix, right?
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to make sure I watch that this weekend. So here are our tangents, and now we're making suggestions on what to watch. So if you'd like to go for it.
I got interested because they showed a clip where everyone knows that if I had anything to do with the team and someone on the team missed a play or made me mad, my go-to thing is you got to walk home. You ain't getting on my flight. You ain't getting on my plane. Now, one of our guests said, you can't really do that. It's in the contract that you fly them back. And I was like, whatever. I'd be breaking the contract. The NFLPA would have to come find me. Jerry Jones, there's a clip. Jerry Jones didn't feed them dinner after one game because they played so poorly. So they let him on the plane, but he didn't let them eat. Grown men told him they couldn't have dinner. So I was like, that's it. I got to watch it because, see, I'm not that far off of how football coaches think.
Right. Yep.
I'm like, you can eat whatever you want because you ain't getting on my plane. So while you wait for your next flight home, go pop up in the airport, Chili's. I don't care.
And it makes me wonder how long that flight would have been, because if it was like let's say they were in.
Well, they said it was the Saints. It was New Orleans.
Oh, they said it was Saints. Okay, so that's
I thought they said it was the Saints. And yes, New Orleans to Dallas is not very long.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, I'm thinking you had your guys out there for 3 hours. They're probably hungry out of their minds, and you're not going to feed them.
So I'm going to watch the whole thing because I want to see how far deep into that they go.
Okay. Moving right along, we have Zach Allen. Speaking of money and everything, he signed a 4-year, $102 million deal. So he's going to average about $25.5 million a year. $69.5 million of it is guaranteed, with a $24 million signing bonus. Now, for those who may not know, I will say, when Zach Allen first signed, I think he came from Arizona, right? I think he came from Arizona. I'm going to blank on that for a second. We're like, okay, that's I don't think a lot of people thought that he would be, not that he wouldn't be a bad fit, but that it's I'm not even sure, because I can even look at his stats real quick before while we're thinking about it.
Well,
So,
so you want his stats before he came?
yeah, before he came.
Oh, I don't have those.
Here we go. So, oh, maybe I don't have it. Wow, that's embarrassing. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Let's pull this up. So he has professional career. He's selected by the Arizona Cardinals, the 65th overall pick in the third round, 2019 NFL. Oh, so he was with the Cardinals. That's right. So in 2022, so before he signed with us, he logged 47 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and 8 pass deflections across 13 starts. Allen credited much of his growth as a player during his last 2 seasons with the Cardinals to the mentorship of teammates and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year recipient J.J. Watt, who's also the defensive end from Arizona from 2021 to 2022.
Well, and he's really blossomed here in Denver.
Yes.
He played all 17 games in 2023. He had 5 sacks, a career high of 60 tackles, and 24 quarterback hits. Last year, we all know how much I love that defense. And they led the league in sacks with 63. Allen had 8.5 of those credited to him, and bested his career high to 61 tackles over the year and 40 quarterback hits. Beautiful. I mean, that's almost 1 more quarterback hit a game. That's 15 more quarterback hits. And he's part of that defense that last year we were 3rd in points allowed and 7th in yards surrendered.
Whew. And to add a little flair to it, he was also the 90th player in the top 100 of players of 2024. So very beautiful. Speaking of defense, and while we're talking contracts, we have a question from Jay here. He says, "Do we think John Franklin Myers will get an extension, or will he walk?" I'll start by saying that's going to be tough because we still have to pay Nick Bonito, and I'm not sure how much of the salary cap is left, because I have a feeling Nick Bonito, it's going to be somewhere in the ballpark. I wouldn't be surprised if he made like $7 million plus. It might even be higher than that over the course of 4 or 5 years. So it's tough to say. I would love to see John Franklin Myers come back, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I want to see how the contract looks for Nick Bonito first. And apparently, according to Nick Bonito himself, they are very close to getting a deal done. So I wouldn't be surprised if before the Broncos suit up week 1 against the Titans, that Nick Bonito has a deal. I
mean, he did finish last year with 7 sacks and 40 tackles. So, he played a big part of that awesome defense. But if you've been watching preseason, you seem to realize that finally, after 7 years of me screaming it, depth is our strength.
Yes.
And our depth has been putting a hurting on other people's depth. So, if we ever have to all play backups, I'm securing our backups. So, unfortunately, when you have that many players, like we're going to talk about in a second, someone's the odd man out.
Yep.
So, I don't know how much, they come to the bargaining table with and say, this is what we're willing to pay you. I don't know if that'll be enough for him. I don't know if he's heard from other teams. He was drafted in 2018, so he's not a young buck. And I know technology is changing and the game is changing, and 7 years in, he might still be under 30, depending when he came out of college. But
John Franklin Myers is going to be 29 in September.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's just this side of 30. So,
I'm actually kind of curious. I'm actually going to look and see real quick while I'm trying to think of things real quick. So here's... Oh, yeah, cool. I have this contract up here right now. So we signed we signed him to a 2-year, $15 million contract, including $4 million as a signing bonus and $10 million guaranteed. And so, actually, you know what? I might retract that. I think there is a possibility of it working because, although if he has a good year this year, it might be tricky because this is his contract year upcoming. So he won't become an unrestricted free agent until next offseason. So, in a sense, depending, and even by then, we'll probably be long past the Russell Wilson deal. So, I could see somewhere along the.
But this is reliant on him having a good year.
Yeah, if he has a good year, then it might be a little bit tricky to give him a good amount. I would assume if he has a really good year, I would probably. Here, actually, I will say this. If he does well and Nick Bonito is signed, I wouldn't be surprised if halfway through the season they just go ahead and give John Franklin Myers the extension right there and then. But that will depend on his performance. And I really think...
Well, and it depends on his perspective if he's trying to make a really big payday.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if he, wants to stay, I guess.
If he's okay with the hometown discount?
Yeah.
But speaking
essentially every contract boils down to that, right?
Yes. Every contract does boil down to that.
So
Courtland Sutton and Zach Allen have new deals. You mentioned earlier depth, and we even talked about it in extension on Saturday night when we played the Cardinals. There's going to be some tough cuts this year. Not unfortunately. Well, I guess however you spin it. There was one move that was made, because I know 53-man rosters don't officially start until I think Monday or Tuesday. But we did start that kind of cut down on today's news. Devon Vele, who we had just drafted last year, is being traded to the New Orleans Saints. As someone who tries to hold near and dear to players, especially if they're in their first year or so, I saw this and I was just I just realized he was only a rookie last year. Why are we trading away a rookie? But it was basically because of the performance of Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant, who was our 3rd-round pick this year. And seeing as how Devon Vele didn't get a whole lot of snaps during the preseason, he had a really good year last year. He just didn't get a whole lot of snaps. I think the fact that Troy Franklin has ascended faster than anyone would have thought. I mean, a lot of Broncos fans, let's admit, were willing to just let him sit and be inactive all season long. But he's come along. And then Pat Bryant, Pat Bryant. A lot of people were like, is this the kind of receiver we want for our 3rd round when there are better options on the table? He's showing time and time again that well he's doing. And so that kind of made Vele expendable. Now, I will say, we drafted Devon Vele in the 7th round. The fact that we got a 4th rounder next year and the 7th rounder in 2027, I won't be the first to admit it because I've seen it a lot on Twitter. I think we fleeced the Saints on that one. I think we got the better end of the deal on that one.
You forgot Marvin Mims Jr. too.
Oh yes, sorry. I'm a Sooner fan. I should know better.
I say this all the time. There only so many people make the NFL.
That's right.
So, the Saints see something. The Saints want him. We get a pick for him. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
No harm, no foul. It's this. Where they say it's a business.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've heard "it's a business" so many times in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Like, okay, I got it.
But it's a business that only works because people get emotionally involved.
Mm-hmm. Very emotionally involved.
So if you keep breaking our hearts, we're gonna eventually stop. Right? Like I love all the jokes and memes in a toxic relationship with the Denver Broncos, in a toxic relationship with the NFL. At some point, we can leave.
Yeah. Just can't sometimes.
I mean, just because I've invested thousands of dollars in merchandise and tickets and travel to see them,
Mm-hmm.
and countless hours of energy and free time and to them, doesn't mean eventually I may not go.
we love the Denver Broncos. Sometimes it's a pain watching some of your favorite players leave, but sometimes, again, it's the nature of the business.
It's heartbreaking.
It is very heartbreaking. And I really thought towards the end of the year, Devon Vele was really coming on his own. I felt like he possibly could have been. I pictured it like this. I pictured Cortland Sutton as wide receiver 1, Marvin Mims in the slot, Troy Franklin as kind of like the little gadget slot player at times. And I imagine Devon Vele as our wide receiver 2 because he was a very tall dude.
But he had training camp to prove himself, and I wish him well. I hope it's a good fit.
Mm-hmm. I think it is going to be a good fit because I was reading the trade details. Devon Vele now becomes the tallest wide receiver on that Saints roster. And he is 6'5". I think they say it was like 6'4", 6'5". And they mentioned something about all the Saints wide receivers right now before he came in were like 6'1" or under.
Well, I mean, the quarterback still has to get him the ball.
Yes.
Right? And I know a lot of Bronco country loves Jay Cutler.
Mm-hmm.
But, he had 3 really tall wide receivers in Chicago, and it didn't
very well.
Bode well for him. It wasn't the magic fix-all that they needed.
Right. And I mean, right now, the Saints are still trying to decide on who's going to be their week 1 starter. They're trying to decide between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Schloll, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's like the rookie quarterback they drafted this year. And then they just drafted Spencer Rattler last year, so he's going to find out which quarterback's going to stick. Hopefully he can get Vele the ball, except against us. And I found the whole ordeal about this trade so interesting because the Broncos play the Saints. Granted, I know not a lot of starters are going to play like 8 to 10 snaps, but take Vele, you put him on the team that you're going to play on Saturday. I don't know. Guess it's a good thing they don't play during the regular season this year.
Well, I don't know that Peyton would have made that trade during the regular season.
Oh, absolutely not. I don't think he would have. So, talked contracts, talked about trades. Let's get into training camp in the preseason. So the Broncos are 2-0 to start preseason, and they've looked fairly well. They beat the Cardinals 27-7, and then they beat the who they just play?
Cardinals.
They played the Cardinals
and the Niners.
The Niners. That's the thing. Kind of a mixed bag in the for the preseason so far. Knicks in the offense didn't look too well. At least the first team offense didn't look well. Stidham has those.
Yeah, the first team offense got 8 plays. I mean, I said this on Twitter, and I stand by it. A lot is going to be made, and then, Peyton doesn't help the noise when he comes out and goes, I wrote 14 things down I didn't like. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, Peyton, you tell him, Sean. And I prefer a preseason like this because for years starters just didn't play,
Right.
and then they do poorly on the first game, and I'd go, oh, if only there was a system set up that you could get some game time, real snaps going before the season starts. God, what could they call that?
Man, I'm not sure. Oh wait, I have an idea. Preseason?
Yeah. So I do like that he utilizes preseason. And I know how he does it is kind of old fashioned where he's like, they're going to get 8 seconds. Because I was with everyone after Ingram's big play. Go sit down. Thank you. Now go have a seat. And he kept playing. And I was with everyone going, we are tempting fate. So, but nothing bad happened, knock on wood. So I knew when Bo did not just come out and, scored 10 touchdowns in 2 plays, Broncos Twitter is going to do what Broncos Twitter does.
Yep.
So, and a lot can be made about the production that our players have had, and they're impressive numbers. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the total offense of 500 plus total yards in 2 games. Defense has only allowed 135 yards and 7 points. It's great, but those are also preseason defenses.
Yes, that's right.
Those are defenses even I recognize. I don't need my foot in a hot tub with a helmet on studying a playbook to read a preseason defense.
Absolutely.
So, I'm glad we seem to have a reliable backup. And someone said that Stidham will be to Bo what Kubiak was to Elway, and I'm all for that.
Oh yeah,
all for that. And the hardest part of this Niner game for me was hearing Shanahan and Kubiak on one sideline and it not being my sideline.
Right.
That's wrong. My brain couldn't comprehend. I'm not supposed to be excited because Kubiak's calling a good play.
Right.
So, but what preseason has shown me is that there has been a definite culture shift in Denver, and we have the right type of players in Denver.
Absolutely.
So I cannot guarantee they will be successful because they are good guys. But I make so much, and people are tired of me hearing about it, about how close that Super Bowl 50 team was and how easy their communication was because of it and how you could see it on and off the field. And I just feel like this team kind of has the same vibe. These are friends. These are guys that hang out. These are guys that talk and communicate and don't point fingers and don't, their heads aren't too big for their helmets. And I really, really think that's what preseason has shown.
Agreed. And also what preseason has shown is that there's going to be a lot of difficult cuts that were going to be made, which kind of we saw one right there in a sense. So,
well, and even the announcers talked about this. The broadcast I was listening to, they said a lot. There's 4 guys sitting there. You're only going to keep 3. They even debated if the Broncos might keep a 3rd quarterback.
Oh yeah, I did see that conversation.
And they were like, no, I don't think so. Put him down on the practice squad. So it's really hard, but it's a good hard to have.
Yes.
And it is, and it can always go the wrong way. You can always, when it's neck and neck and you pick one, it could always be the wrong one. But I it's Sean Payton, and you have to think he kind of knows.
Yeah.
That he's got to go for it.
He's been at this for a while. I'm pretty sure he's got a good gist of what to do.
It's not Nathaniel Hackett. It's not Vic Fangio. It's Sean Payton making these decisions, and you know what else I haven't heard from Broncos Twitter?
What's that?
Because we are all ready to fire George Payton last year.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, all of a sudden he can't do any wrong, can he?
Yeah, what was it that they were? There's like a couple. Oh shoot.
But it goes back to when you're losing. And again, going back to the documentary, when Jimmy Johnson came in, and they got rid of beloved Landry, and then they went 0-7. And everyone in Dallas, they show the clips all the time. You got them old boys from Arkansas that don't know nothing about football. Talk it, and all the talk, them Hicks from Arkansas. That's what they call them. They don't know football. Jimmy Johnson suddenly doesn't know football. You fired the wrong people. Got rid of Herschel Walker. And then the one person was so bold as to say that Jerry Jones did it on purpose because he was going to move the Dallas Cowboys to Arkansas.
Oh, gosh.
So when things are bad, I mean, I blame Broncos Twitter, but it happens in every fan base in whatever mode the fan base is talking to each other. Everybody's got to go. Everybody's fired.
Everybody's fired.
I mean, I have fired them multiple times. But, now on the upswing, now that we got players saying, no, I want to play in Denver, all these people you're going to fire. They're doing kind of a good job, aren't they?
Nope.
They do kind of know something about football.
Yeah.
Amazing how that works.
Right? It's almost like it's their job.
Now,
and they're doing it well. They're doing it well.
Yeah. I will say, though, the number of pre-snap penalties started to piss me off.
Oh, yeah. I heard that Caleb Launer had a lot of those. Or, no, I don't think his wasn't really pre-snap penalties.
His issue were they were in a row.
Yes.
So, it was part of a bigger problem, and he's going to get picked on because they were in a row. Mm-hmm. So, but, it's the backups, and, maybe that's why they're the second stringers, because you have to listen to the snap count. And I don't know what this illegal formation is. I've never heard so many illegal formation calls on the Broncos than I've heard since Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Do we not know how to
do we not know how to line up?
But so if I have to give a negative, it's the pre-snap penalties are worrisome. But again, I go back. This is not Hackett incompetence, and this is not Fangio's inflexibility.
Right.
So I'm gonna right now trust Sean Payton that he's gonna right this ship, that he saw the issue, and he's gonna address it before real football starts.
Absolutely. One negative I do want to take away, especially from the Cardinals game, and we're talking about players, and a lot of the talking points this week has been, what's the final 53-man roster going to look like? And a lot of people are doing let's do our rough draft, or what our predictions for the 53-man roster. Before we get any further, I'll just say that we may not get to that point for this episode. We will talk about it when the official roster comes out. But Audric Estime is another one of those draft picks from last year that could see himself on the outside looking in.
I mean, RJ Harvey can run the football.
It
is so difficult because they're all talented athletes.
They are all talented.
But you got to be the best. You got to be the best one on the field. And unfortunately, you prove that in training camp. And when the new guys show up, they're hungry. And if you're not as hungry, or you get lackadaisical, or you think, well, I just got here, they'll give me time to improve. They're always going to take the person that doesn't need more time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard because Estime would run me over in a half a second.
Yep.
In a blink of an eye. But, you got a short window to perform in the NFL, right? I mean, it's always set up that way. You get this short window in college to really get some highlights in. You got this short window at the Columbine. You get this short window at senior workout day. You get this short window of, training camp. And these systems are set up to weed out who's not going to make it. And I'm not saying the system doesn't get it wrong sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are so many collegiate athletes that are superior athletes and great. And if they don't go to the right team, or they don't go with the right people around them, or they don't go with the coach that they vibe with, it ruins their entire career.
It does.
It ruins everything they've been working for since, Pee-wee football. I mean, I assume, how youth sports are now today. I assume most NFL players today did pee-wee football, did flag football, did pee-wee football, I don't know what the football equivalent is to travel soccer and travel baseball.
I don't know.
But I'm sure there's some equivalent to it. I'm sure they played junior high ball if they could, that they played high school ball, and they played college ball. I mean, I think the only exception would be that kicker that came out of nowhere.
The kicker that came out of nowhere.
Like he was playing oh no, it's not a kicker. It's a receiver who played basketball all through college.
Oh. Yeah, I think there've been a few of those, but yeah, there was definitely one that kind of, I just wish I could remember his name. I'm blanking now. I know there are a couple of tight ends that played basketball beforehand. I mean, we have one on the roster right now. So.
But he didn't even play football. Like, he didn't even play football.
Oh, not interesting.
And then he just walked on and said, I'll catch the ball. Like,
was that Julius Thomas by any chance?
I'd have to look it up.
See, now I'm questioning it, because now I want to look at this. But while I'm doing that, I would say the one surprise for me during the preseason and training camp, and you'll know this because the last episode we had, I complained about him because of when the Broncos drafted him, and because of the need. And like, why are we drafting an edge guy when we have Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito and all these other guys? But Q Robinson has been looking pretty good in preseason as well. So if he makes 53, I will back off. I'm like, all right, I know what you guys are I know I don't know ball, but George Payton and Sean Payton know ball.
So, I mean, it's the same with Franklin. We were all ready to write Franklin off. We said, it was a pity pick so that Bo had somebody, poor rookie quarterback, we'll give him his guy. Yep. And, Franklin did not impress last year, let's be honest. But, man, he's come out this preseason, like, with his hair on fire.
Absolutely.
So, everybody was ready to go, and now all of a sudden, yay, Franklin. So, things change on a dime, or, the wind shifts, it shifts as quickly as the wind can shift it. So it's hard. It's, and this is why I don't do mock drafts. And this is why, I've said many times, I've watched players in college and been like, man, they are going to get into the NFL and light it up. And they get to the NFL and they can't do it. And there's people I see in college and I go, they cannot take this game to the NFL. And they come to the NFL and I'm like, how? How? So don't hire me as a scout because, I can't tell. I'll talk to the guy, and if I like him, I'll be like, cool, let's draft him. He let me beat him at dominoes. I mean, I as many years as I've been watching college ball, I just cannot, and I'll tell you, I didn't think CeeDee Lamb would make it. When Broncos country was in a uproar because we didn't draft Lamb, I'm like, I ain't gonna say I Boomer Sooner till I die. I love CeeDee Lamb as a Sooner. I didn't think he'd make it in the NFL.
Interesting.
I didn't think Ricky Williams would make it in the NFL.
I don't think he really did.
He kept getting busted for weed. If he would have stopped smoking weed. But I didn't think he'd do as well as he did,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think Geno Smith would do much. And you can argue he still hasn't done much, but he's still fucking here. So, and there's people that I thought would just come and, light it up. And it's like, oh, they're over there on that bench now, huh? Okay.
Yep.
So
any surprises from you?
Franklin really surprised me. Otherwise, I'm really happy with what I see in preseason, except for the pre-snap fouls. And we can argue all day about how bad the first team played, but they're still young, powerful, full of promise players. They're just a little rusty. It's okay. Let's not sell the farm.
Yes. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Let's not sell the farm. So you already mentioned the first team units will get 8 to 10 snaps against the Saints. We're looking for progress and mistakes, and it's just preseason to get the rest kicked off, and to gather that data for the final roster.
Yep. And it's also your final chance to make your case on why you should be one of the 53 men on that roster.
So
that was actually a really perfect transition onto that.
I'm actually really shocked that everyone's just kind of laughed at how well Stidham has done, and no one has started calling for a quarterback controversy. I'm very proud of Broncos Twitter for that. They're just kind of giving him nicknames. Oh, Jay Stiddy, look at him go. But there has not been the, oh my God, we need to play him and not Bo Nix. It's so nice to have an off season where we're relaxed about our quarterback.
And on that note, Broncos Twitter, give yourselves a pat on the back for that one.
Round of applause.
Yes. I think it also kind of proves that if I'm hoping nothing happens to Bo Nix whatsoever, but it kind of this preseason kind of shows that Stidham does have the capabilities to lead an offense and take care of the ball and give you a couple games if Bo Nix happens and needs to sit out for a couple games. Which, I mean, we got that when Peyton Manning had to sit out, and Brock Osweiler was there. He was able to carry the team through 6 games, earned them a playoff berth, and was like a half short from possibly giving them the number 1 seed. But Peyton Manning had to save them at that point. So I think it's good having a really decent backup that could play you a couple games like a starter. So hold on to sit him for as long as we can, because I would hate to be in that situation where, like, if you got this high-powered quarterback, but then behind him you have like this 7th-round rookie or this journeyman quarterback who hasn't done well in the NFL. And you kind of put you in a tough
and we've
spot.
learned that whatever is in Denver, we can't get those quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks won't play for us.
Yes.
We gave Joe Flacco the starting position. He couldn't win a game. Every other team he goes to freaking almost gets him to the playoffs. What the?
Russell Wilson led the Seahawks to multiple playoff victories. Can't even get us past 500.
Yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to go around the carousel again. So,
Okay.
I'm nervous about the sophomore slump. I want to see growth from Bo. I'm nervous that if he doesn't have, some awesome, spectacular game 1, that the Twitter debates will begin. But it has been nice to sit there and know, I got a quarterback. His name is Bo Nix.
Yeah.
He took us to the playoffs last season.
Yeah. I think also the one thing that kind of worries me about this season too, and we'll talk about it next week when we do our predictions for the season, is that if you know us well enough, we like to keep you on your toes. We like to surprise you. We like being the underdog. The fact that a lot of these analysts are like predicting us to win 11, 12 games and then win the AFC West. I'm like, no, let us take Kansas City by surprise first before we start talking about that.
I mean, there is an argument to be made that we didn't really do well against winning teams.
That's true.
So I do listen to that argument, because I would make that argument if it was anybody I didn't like. I'd be like, any team with a winning record, they didn't, but it was also his rookie season. So, I believe in the sophomore slump because I believe in things like that. But I have seen quarterbacks not have them.
Yep.
But, I feel good about who the coach is. I feel good that he knows how to coach players.
Yes.
I feel good, the season Bo's coming off of. I feel good that all the other leaders that we have in the locker room, the shift in character, the shift in culture. I feel good about all of that as a whole.
Absolutely.
So this is really since, I'm so tired of saying this, since Super Bowl 50, this is kind of the best you feel going into a season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I kind of felt good with Russell Wilson because I was like, oh, that's a quarterback that can play.
He duped us.
We've
been tricked. We've been conned. And more importantly, we've been bamboozled.
So,
but yeah.
So this is kind of the best. I'm eagerly optimistic and hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very cautious about it, but I think the game against the Saints and the 8 to 10 reps will tell us a lot.
Absolutely. And it's early too, so yay. That's the thing, it's like on at 10 a.m. your time. 10 a.m. Kelly time. Before we go, you mentioned Joe Flacco, and so I was thinking, here's my little around the NFL moment, in that Joe Flacco is now going to be the Week 1 starting quarterback for the Browns. And Daniel Jones is going to be the week 1 starting quarterback for the Colts. So we have a Super Bowl winning quarterback who didn't do well with us when he started. All of a sudden, like, oh, he's starting week 1 for another new team. And then Daniel Jones getting a fresh start. Although I did read, like, I wonder how the Colts felt when they announced that Daniel Jones was going to be the starting quarterback. Someone put on Reddit that has an Andrew Luck jersey, but the L is replaced with an F, and over it says "well." So it's like, well, fuck.
So again, Daniel Jones didn't really walk into an ideal situation with the Giants.
Yeah.
And I will, I'm a big Manning family fan. Now, it is my understanding Archie Manning wasn't really that great of a quarterback. Now, he played in a time that he didn't have to be that great of a quarterback.
Right.
Because quarterbacks weren't quarterbacking then. But, they were, it was the game then.
Yes.
But he produced 3 very superior athletes.
Yes.
And all of them admit that Cooper, Archie's dad, was probably the most talented.
Yes.
And so, and then you have Peyton and you have Eli. And it's just such a smart family.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a smart family. Now, I don't know if Archie will do well. I don't know what it is about Manning and them ugly orange teams they pick, but that's some bullshit. And I don't know that he'll rise to NFL like his uncles. Now the genes are there, and I also don't know because what Cooper had can be genetic.
Right.
So I would think that about this time is when Cooper found out, maybe a little earlier. I think Cooper actually found out in high school. So if Archie's made it this far, I'm thinking maybe it didn't get past to him. So I'm a Manning, but I wasn't a Colts fan. I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not a Saints fan. I'm not a Longhorn fan. So I'm not, but I'm a Manning family fan. I think they make great commercials. I think they talk well. I think they're hilarious and they bounce off each other together. I think they have a good sense of humor about themselves. And I went off on this tangent and I forgot my point. What were we talking
about? Daniel Jones being named starting quarterback.
So Daniel Jones and the end of Eli in New York was atrocious.
It was.
It was a sin against Eli's, and I don't know that I necessarily would call Eli great. Now, he did the world a favor, and he managed to take down Brady both times that he faced him in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, I take a bullet for him just for that. But what he gave that franchise and how that franchise benched him for Daniel Jones. One, what it was a sin against Eli. It was a sin against Eli. It was a sin against the NFL, and it did not set up Daniel Jones for success.
No, not at all.
And while I don't know that Peyton and the Broncos ended as amicably as they should have, but he's still there. So whatever happened, he was able to let it go and move past and stay.
Right.
So, but I've said for years, part of my issue with Denver is we just seem to kill the quarterbacks that come to us.
Unfortunately, that is the case.
And so all those young quarterbacks that came through us, we destroyed what hope they had. And we've seen now in the past
years.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say since Cam Newton that sometimes you don't do so well on your first team, and when you go somewhere, suddenly there's a resurgence and you can make it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of quarterbacks that are doing well now, and maybe they're not great. Maybe they're not in the GOAT conversation, but they're successful and they're winners and they're keeping their job, from contract to contract.
Yep.
But they're with the second team doing that. The first team wasn't ready for them, couldn't develop them, couldn't get them on the field right. And I think that goes back to what I've been complaining about is that, we don't let a player develop anymore. We don't let a quarterback develop. Nope. Second interception. You're time to go find a veteran Jordan man, switch you out, and you're gone. And then we start the process again. And so I think we have to stop deciding that when they're on their second team. Now, Flacco is, I don't know why Flacco keeps showing up. Ain't he older than Brady at this point?
I think he just turned 40.
Okay, well, I mean, and for the Browns, really?
Well, the Browns are a mess anyway. So
but I mean, and the reputation that they now have, of who they will sign and who they will hire, really, really? But okay, it's your legacy, dude. It's your name. It's not mine. I'm not Kelly Flacco, so what? Really? I mean, I just don't get Flacco at all.
Kelly's beside herself right now. But really, if you think about it, that was like his best opportunity to start because you have. I'm not going to talk about his name right now. Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted before Shedeur Sanders, and then you've got this media hype thing of Shedeur Sanders. And I think they signed another quarterback too. I'm like, what are you? Do we not know who you're going to be playing at quarterback?
No, they don't know what they're doing, and I want to say that it's karma for a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Now, it's all karma for he who will not be named, but they screwed over Baker too.
Yeah, I was going to say Baker. They messed him over big time.
So it's again because I get a little obsessive. I'm going to go back to the Jerry Jones thing, and he did really well for a while, but payment came due, and the Cowboys have been paying for 30 years. And to me, the Browns fans, and after what Art Modell did to them, do not deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
This is bullshit that they had to live through the Art Modell. They get their team back, and 15 years in, how long have the Browns been back? God.
They've been almost 25, a little over 25 years now.
Okay. We're going to go with 15 because I don't want to feel that old. History class by Kelly is a little different. The dates have been changed to make me feel better. God, they just don't deserve it again. They just really don't.
No, I agree.
They I mean, God, John Elway went and beat your ass 3 out of 4 years. Art Modell stole your team, and now you got this karma coming for you. I don't know who. It's LeBron.
The curse of the baby.
That's it. That's it. The kid from Cleveland.
When in doubt, blame LeBron.
Works for me.
Works for me too. So you won't be complaining about it. But on that note, anything else that we need to cover?
No.
Then in that case, well, first off, before you close out, thank you, Jay, for sending in a couple questions and greeting us. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more coming in, but I'm pretty sure as
Word
good
has to get
things
around that we're really live. They've been asking us to be live forever, and we've said no. And then all of a sudden, okay. So word has to get around that we're live.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they believed us.
Maybe like a couple people are like, wait a second, like, wait, they mean business. Like, yeah, I've been telling you guys like 2-3 weeks we're gonna go live.
Yeah, but on top of 6 years of me going, we ain't going live. We ain't never going live. I ain't never gonna be live.
That's fair. That's fair. But we hope to make this. We're definitely gonna make it a regular thing. So this will be probably around the time that we're on. We will let you know on Twitter if times change or anything like that. But we're excited to finally be among those that have decided to transition from just audio to now audio and video. So you can watch us whenever you have the time. Or listen to us now. But you've been able to listen to us whenever. But now you can see our faces. There, we'll go with that. You can see our faces now. On that note, you care to close us out?
Okay, let's see. Let's go over what a challenge flag is. When you hear something that you don't agree with, you can send us a challenge flag.
Mm-hmm.
I've won most of them, but there's hope. Don't let that deter you. Keep them coming. Challenge flags. Song requests are because sometimes we will do really bad karaoke if we are feeling especially joyous about a win.
Yes.
And every once in a while, you get our great lyric writing where we've changed the words to make it even funnier. Challenge flag, song requests, guest requests, if there's someone you'd like to hear talk football with us. And topic requests. So if there is something you absolutely want us to talk about and you can't join us live to tell us to talk about it right then, send it in. So challenge flags, song request, guest request, topic request. You can always reach us. Me on Twitter at I Love Talib.
You can reach me at TieFlyGuy15.
You can reach us both at the same time.
At in_com_plete_2, because it's right under there.
Because there's two of us.
You mentioned that already.
Then all those DMs are open 24/7. We just ask that you stay clothed, and you can slide right in. Pretend you're sliding into home. You need clothes on for that. But if sliding into someone's DMs is not for you, you can reach us at our email
in_com_plete@outlook.com. And then you can also, I will go off of what Kelly said, like if you have any topic requests, you actually can also message us here on YouTube, like what Jay did, asking us about the JMF getting an extension. So if you're joining us live, you can ask your topic question then. If you're like curious about like, what are they going to do for the 53-man roster? Or why do you think the Broncos are going to beat the Eagles this year? I don't know. I came up with that randomly. You can comment right there. Also, we are available on Instagram at in_com_plete_2. There was something else. Oh, just because we are live here, you can still listen to us on your favorite podcast listening device or your podcast app, whether that be Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon. Pretty much wherever you listen to your podcast, we're probably there. But also, don't forget to
you can't run and you can't hide.
Now you definitely now can't run or can't hide now that we're on YouTube. Be sure to leave a review, rate us, let us know what you want to see, wherever you can find out where you can wherever you want to reach us out at, because if you don't tell us what you want to see improved, which you see, we made a big improvement right here, we can't help you. We took your advice. Now, this is not free reign to ask the most mundane, ridiculous request ever, but this proves we do listen to you guys. So, on that note, and until then, and until next time,
Go Broncos.